today I'm going to talk about a history topic of a Nickelodeon animated series, Fairly OddParents. So before I talk about the actual history, I do have a fun fact to share about the show. While in early development, the series was titled The Fairly OddParents, and then it was briefly changed to Oh My Godparents. Bill Brunette came up with the title, The Fairly OddParents, which they ended up sticking with. So that's a fun fact you probably didn't know about before, and you learned something new. But if you already knew that, then that's cool and awesome. And now we're going to discuss and talk about the development of the history, how the show The Fairly OddParents got made. So, for example, prior to the creation of the Fairly OddParents, Butch Hartman was working at Cartoon Network on Dexter's Laboratory. So the show creator, Butch Hartman, so he used to work for Cartoon Network before he went to Nickelodeon. And I think the creator did an amazing job of creating the Nickelodeon show, The Fairly OddParents. And it says right here, and Johnny Bravo in 1997. And wow, I was only 3 years old back in 1997. Fred Seibert contacted Hartman about pitching ideas for his Oh Yeah cartoon series, which he was developing for Nickelodeon. Hartman entirely declined the offer. Several months later, Johnny Bravo finished, and Hartman decided to create his own series instead of going back to working for other studios. And then later, Hartman was thinking, okay, so what if I just pitch my own show idea? So that's what it was discussing about of the history. And then it says right here, Hartman started developing his own series by drawing a picture of a little boy who would become Timmy Turner. Hartman was originally going to name him Mike after his brother Mike Hartman. So the original idea, the characters, Butch Hartman was going to name him Mike after got an inspirational idea from his brother, but that probably didn't work, and he's like, yeah, let's just name him Timmy Turner. And it said right here, but they had a fight that day, so Hartman named him after his other brother, Timmy Hartman, instead. So Butch Hartman, didn't have a brother, named Mike, but he also had another brother named Timmy that was from another inspirational from his third brother. And now I'm going to go down and I'm going to talk about Original Run. Upon its premiere, the Fairly OddParents was immediately popular and quickly became the second highest rated children's program among kids ages 2 to 11 years old on both network and cable television, behind Nick's own SpongeBob SquarePants. So that's actually a fun fact about that. And it says right here, on January 24th, 2006, Hartman announced on his forum that Nickelodeon had cased production of the show, the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour 3, the Jerkinators is the 5th season finale in production order and was indeed to be the series finale, airing on July 21st, 2006. And now I'm going to talk about the revival. So on February 2nd, 2007, Hartman announced on his forum that Nick granted the Fairly OddParents 20 more episode slot, making sure the show resumed production. So for Nickelodeon decided, hey, what if they renewed the show, because back in 2000s it was so popular, and not just adults but adults and kids grew up watching the show before, and they thought, hey, it was amazing. And now I'm talking about the live action films and of the series. So fun fact that the Fairly OddParents was on Nickelodeon since 2001, and it says right here, to honor the 10th anniversary of the Fairly OddParents, a live-action television film titled A Fairly Odd Movie, Grow Up Timmy Turner. Yes, I have seen it before, because they decided, yeah, let's make a live action based on a series. And it premiered on July 9th, 2011. The film is set 13 years after the animated series and stars Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, but he's now the 23-year-old Timmy Turner, that happened in the movie. And then later there was 2 sequels, A Fairly Odd Christmas and also A Fairly Odd Summer, which premiered on November 29th, 2012, and the other one August 2nd, 2014. So that was the live action sequels that happened back in 2010s. And hold on a second. Now we'll talk about canceled spin-off series and film. In 2004, Hartman revealed his intentions to make a Crash Nebula spin-off series, but the pilot episode Crash Nebula was aired as part of the show's 4th season. Nickelodeon decided not to pick up the series. I mean, it would have been super cool, but it was not up to me, and I have no control about that. And in 2006, Hartman slated that he was still convented and would try to get the spin-off greenlighted. In the future, he also wrote a script entitled Crash Nebula the Movie for Paramount Pictures, but the film was canceled due to its similarities to Disney's Sky High. I mean, the movie would have been awesome, but again, it would have been a lot similar from that Disney film. And now, live action reboot series. So, on February 24th, 2021, it was supposed to be like a live action series for Paramount Plus, but it really depends on how well it would do if it was live action, or maybe they thought, maybe the animated series is a lot better. But I'm just saying, again, I'm not the chief of Paramount Pictures. And now, hold on a second. And yes, there are also video games of the show, and there was also a Fairly OddParent video game crossover before, and there were also like theme park attractions, so that took place Nickelodeon Universe in American Dream and Mall of America. That actually did happen. And I'm pretty sure you are still able to watch the Fairly OddParents episode on Paramount Plus. And there were also figurines and toys that came from Burger King and Wendy's, and there were also popsicles of that, because if you're trying to look for the toys and popsicles, it's incredibly hard to find these days. And that's all for the history of the Fairly OddParents. And before I go, I want to make this episode for people who, again, remembered watching the show from their childhood before, or if you're still a big fan of it today. And also off topic is my message for Funko Pop Company is please make a Funko Pop figurine of the Fairly OddParents characters. I mean, it's not just for me. If there's a Funko fan anyone who enjoyed the show before, hey, they may really want a Funko Pop figurine of their favorite characters. So again, just of an idea. And that's all for my show today. And make sure to comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Click like on the bottom below. And don't forget to hit the bell for more notifications. And that's all for my show today. And see you next time.